Fire up my phone again. Oops.
He's tough.
Shamari Pons?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're back live. Jim?
Seems to be working.
Mike Kinsella? Yeah. Seems to be. I'll do another retweet out there. Let's see. And we're back live. For who knows how long. Oh, the Cyclone fan forum. Cyclone football, really? All right. Whatever. Second half has begun here as Mike and I are watching Marquette and St. John's go at it. Mike has gotten into the Grater's ice cream that I have a stash of here. If you haven't had Grater's, you really should. He opted for the chocolate chip cookie dough, which is a safe bet. Nothing that Grater's makes is bad.
Typically my favorite flavor. What's your favorite?
Black raspberry chocolate chip,
Right.
which you're going to have to try before I devour all of it.
Gotcha.
It's unbelievable. But they make that stuff in small batches in Cincinnati, and it's available in the Milwaukee area at Meijer, and that's about it.
Marcus got fouled there? Nope.
Joey Hauser. Now, what's your thought on a guy committing a foul and then getting pulled right away, whether he's in foul trouble or not?
Well, are we sure that he committed the foul? I don't know.
Well, I mean, just the mentality of a player.
I mean, depends on what it was, but that's be good to get him going like that.
Yeah.
I think as a player, you understand it if you're in foul trouble. I mean, you never like leaving a
But
game
what if
for
you're not
any
in
reason.
foul trouble? You just committed a foul that was a bad play, and the coach pulls you, like automatically.
Yeah, I mean, it's you like to have a little bit longer leash than that, but depending on who you are, what you did. Yeah.
Like if KO did that with me, he would just say, "Look, I know you know better than that. I'm just going to give you a break because I want to give you, I want to give your legs a rest or something like that." He'd find a way to make it seem like it was not that big a deal that you got pulled.
And did you believe him when he said that?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, I bought into everything that he said. Grab my ice cream. You're really gonna regret not going with this one. It's good. Tough,
That's
contested
tough.
3. All right, give it a shot.
All right. Looks good.
Yeah. And I pitch it to people are like, yeah, I don't like the seeds and the rest. I'm like, there's no seeds. There's like big, like chocolate bar pieces of chocolate in there, but there's no seeds. And it's just phenomenal. I actually should have let it sit out and warm up a little bit while I was eating the pizza. By the way, viewer, if that's Jake
Thomas on,
if you can
possibly.
Chat to us, just so you know the chat function's working. Give that a try.
Yeah, that is really good. That's fantastic, actually.
Yeah. And it's available at Meijer's. Pick and Save does not carry it. Okay. As Homer would like to say, get out your holy cards and your rosary. Theo shot about 50% from the line last year. That didn't look horrible, but was not online. How'd you shoot in college from the line?
Not well. I mean, I didn't take a whole lot of free throws. But
How'd you shoot in college in the line in practice?
really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Weird.
reps.
Yeah. How about you?
I got progressively worse as my career moved on. It was just reps for me. See, quick shot,
Yep.
unnecessary. St. John's going to shoot a ton of those, and Marquette's just got to, weather the proverbial storm and get the long rebounds because they're going to have opportunities. They just got a bunch of.
Wow.
Did they call an offensive
Wow.
foul there? Based on Steve Wojciechowski's reaction, I'd say, yeah, a little bit of elbow there.
But I don't know.
You got to give him space, don't you, to turn? I'm going right at Marcus Howard.
Yes, sir.
And that's where it's hard for me to understand him at the next level. But then again, Steph Curry can do it, right?
Yeah, that's true. How tall is Steph Curry, though?
Is he much over 6 foot?
I have no idea. I would probably say 6'2". I think he's taller than you think.
Yeah.
You know who works in the purchasing department at Meyer, right?
Who?
Chris Grimm.
Does he really?
Yeah.
He should purchase this stuff in bulk.
Yep. I'll let him know.
Yeah.
Just moved him and his family to Grand Rapids, and
He's from Michigan, isn't he?
he is.
And Myers is based out of Michigan, right?
Yeah, Grand Rapids. So the funny thing about Chris is, he always says he's from Detroit. And I ran into somebody in college who was like, "Oh, your buddy's from Detroit, huh?" I said, "Yeah, he's from Brighton." And they go, "That's not Detroit." And Chris really doesn't like it when people say he's not from the
That's
D.
like somebody from Bolingbrook saying they're from Chicago.
Yeah.
And where are you from originally?
Rochester, Minnesota.
All right. How come you didn't go back to Minnesota after school?
Played overseas for 3 years, and then after,
Oh, I got on travel.
I'd like to see that one again.
Yeah.
Just had an opportunity back in Milwaukee, and I think that wherever you go to college, just in general, has such. I mean, you're basically
profound impact, doesn't it?
As a 17, 18-year-old, you're making a decision that you don't realize probably it's where there's a good chance you're going to spend a lot of your life there. And it's just kind of interesting where you can make those decisions and end up living in a place forever. Because, I mean, you get into a Marquette community, you establish people stuff like that. And all of a sudden, I'm like, well, I really don't know that many people back in Minnesota anymore, at least.
I tell my kids that all the time. I said, be careful where you decide you want to go to school, because there's a good chance you're going to meet your spouse there. You're going to end up there. You're never going to leave. So make sure it's a place you're willing to live the rest of your life, even if that doesn't happen.
But I think my mom told me that. But, it is. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, whatever.
You don't really believe what she says.
Because I was really set on going to UCLA for a long time.
Yeah.
And they recruited me, and I took a visit. And they were one of my final choices. And then I didn't go there because it felt like they were going to recruit over me every year for the best players in California.
Yeah.
Not that I thought Cherokee Parks or Eric Meeks were better players than me. They were probably rated better in their class than I was in my class.
Mm-hmm.
That was just the next year. And then there was going to be somebody else the year after that.
Yep. Who was the coach?
Jim Herrick.
Yep.
Who, for having the reputation he had as a cheater.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, here's Jake Thomas. Nice to see my favorite 7-footer live on the screen.
Wow. That's with there being 2 7-footers here.
That's a safe thing to say.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jake. We appreciate that. As our lone viewer.
I think we both think that he's talking about ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a true 7-footer?
No.
Well, then I guess he's just talking about me.
However, I've never played basketball without shoes on. So.
Okay. Now, Jake, if you see yonder in the distance, that's my Bullets team poster for my rookie season. John McEnroe in the house, as he often is at St. John's games.
Looking thrilled to be there.
You can't see it on the live feed, but I mentioned this on Twitter, well, in private messages with Rex Chapman the other week because I sent him Kringles for Christmas because he begged me to. The day we signed those posters, Scott Skiles was injured and he was not there. In fact, he's not even on that poster, I don't think. Is he?
Right in the middle.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So he was injured and not there. Kenny Walker was living in Rex Chapman's house. And as they were autographing the posters, they're debating, there you go, Ed Morrow. Now, time to get some stops. I'm not in panic mode yet by any stretch. Where Rex Chapman's junk was, the size of it, the positioning of it as he was taking that shot. And I don't think they did the same thing with Kenny. Maybe they did.
I see.
But they were going back and forth. They were actually drawing on the posters. And I was like sitting right next to him, like, come on, guys. Some kid's going to have that hanging up in his bedroom someday. And I'm sure most of them have been destroyed by now, but they framed these and gave them to us, and there's mine, and I got one of the ones.
Well, I think probably most of them were given to you and your teammates, I would imagine.
Yeah,
They do any quality checks giving these out to kids, maybe?
probably not.
Quality control?
I think they're just trying to keep them from getting torn up when we were signing them. Now you get a little nervous.
Yes, ton of time.
Well, it's just momentum.
Yeah.
You know, it's energy and momentum, and St. John's is feeling good about themselves right now. Wojciechowski wants to break that up a little bit, so he'll call a timeout, gather up his troops, settle them down. And
We're just fine.
that could be the best thing for Marquette because it could give those guys a false sense of confidence if they can just come down and jack it, because that's what they ended up doing at Seton Hall and it cost them. And so here's my selection. That's Graders. And
Hey, Jake, what's your favorite ice cream? Since we got you on and you're using the chat function, let's just start asking Jake questions.
yeah,
See if he's listening in.
see if this will toggle timestamps, participants. Oh, Jim McElwain. Oh, what did I do there? Okay. Well, Marcus Howard's got to start making a little bit more noise now, coming out of the stretch. But just force St. John's to make an extra pass. Like, dare them to make an extra pass. Because they don't want to.
We just got to get a couple shots to drop. Haven't really gotten a ton of momentum going yet.
Especially if Pons gets his hands on it. He's not going to want to pass it anyway. So this connection looks like it's holding a little better now that my wife isn't trying to interfere. From upstairs, that was the problem in the first half. I don't have a great Wi-Fi connection here. Who's the toughest player you had to play against in college?
That's a good question. Aaron Gray was pretty tough to play against just because he was hard to move. Once he gets his big frame and He's pretty heavy and wide.
Did he last long in the league?
He actually longer than I think a lot of people would have realized. I mean, I think he was around for, I could be totally wrong, but I want to say like 7 years.
That's a solid career.
Yeah. He jumped around a little bit, obviously, but especially now, you get to that second contract.
Yeah. Marvin Clark playing better as of late. What do you think of Marquette going with the gold uniforms on the road?
I like it.
It's gotten confusing for me. In my era, I sound like an old man. You wore your lighter colors at home and your darker colors on the road. Except when we played Maryland, Baltimore County, whose home jerseys were white and their road jerseys were gold. And our home jerseys were gold.
Did we do that?
We did.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, we had to wear blue at home.
Oh, because did you guys only have gold that year?
No, that year we had that corner over there. We had gold for home, and then we had blue on the road.
Wow.
And I was so sick of them taking my jerseys and having everybody sign them and auction them off.
Yeah.
I stole that one. And the manager's like, "You got to give it back. We're going to put it in a frame and give it to you on senior day." I said, "You sure?" Yeah. So I gave it back to him.
I was going to ask why everybody signed your jersey.
I don't know. That's how they did it
It
then.
was probably back in the day when they didn't make, you guys just didn't have 5 jerseys of every color for each person,
I
right?
think we had 2 of each color.
Yeah. Have we worn the baby blues this year yet?
No, and
I think we
I can't say that definitively because I've listened to several games
Yeah.
and I didn't see them because I was traveling.
I don't remember seeing them.
We don't do well in the baby blues.
We have not.
I call it championship blue or
Yeah.
77 blue, just to make my wife upset.
Uh-huh.
Because I tell her, when you beat a team for the national championship, you can take their colors forever. Make them your own. Marcus Howard picks up the foul. St. John's not happy about it, but they're trying not to give him any looks.
They've had enough calls this game, I think.
But here's where they need to start chipping away at it.
Yeah.
And getting stops at the other end. Like, you don't need to get it all back at once, but
Tough shot.
yeah, he wasn't going to hit that one. That was a good rhythm shot. The first step back is when he could have hit it,
Yeah.
but he was there defending it. Now St. John's comes down to the other end.
They're just hot, you know.
Yeah. I think they live with it and they die with it, though.
Yeah. Like this.
That was a foul, no call.
Great puck.
Hit him with the body.
I've been really impressed with a lot of things Joey does, but he's got great post moves for a freshman and who it can be tough to compete in there sometimes. And
Yeah.
he's got good footwork and crafty, and he's made some tough buckets with you.
Wow.
Great comebacks.
Car and him. Didn't expect that out of him. They got to stop letting St. John's get these shots at the other end. Because St. John's will settle for threes and contested shots.
There we go.
See?
Let's run.
That's all you got to do. Make them burn some time on the clock offensively, and they'll They'll settle for a bad shot.
Here we go.
Joey Hauser just doesn't have the strength yet. When he's making those low post moves, he's trying to avoid the contact. It leads to a lower percentage shot.
He's got a couple nice up and unders, or
Yeah.
some fakes.
Well, he's still but he's still figuring out what he can get away with at the college level that he could do in high school and what's not going to work. John McEnroe, resident celebrity, get a little more screen time. Are you bummed to see Bill Murray leave the Big East for the ACC with his son Luke, who's an assistant at Louisville?
I'm indifferent. I mean, it does add a certain wrinkle that's kind of interesting.
I liked having Bill
He's a
at the
character.
games.
He's a character.
Yeah.
So have you heard that? I don't know if this is actually like something they're looking at doing, but more so they're trying to put pressure to do a second Caddyshack.
They did a second Caddyshack.
No, like it
was awful.
A remake. They're looking at doing a remake of the first.
I don't
Like
think
same storyline.
I don't think
everything
he
like
can.
that.
Can't recapture that magic. Did you hear about Sherlock Holmes or Holmes and Watson?
The new one was.
Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly.
What about it?
They're saying it could be the worst movie ever made.
Really? I did not hear that.
Lots and lots of people saying they're walking out after the first 15 minutes. It's so bad.
Oh, it's not a lot of time to give a movie to walk out on.
Somebody else said they had a bunch of jokes and funny parts that were written and shot for the movie.
Yeah.
But they eventually got cut because they were worried it would offend people because of the political sensitivity. Probably just wrecked it. Now, did you know?
It's gonna be hard to make movies anymore if you're worried about that.
I don't remember the name of it. But did you know Will Ferrell starred in a Western where everybody, including Will Ferrell, spoke nothing but Spanish?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I have it on DVD. I found it at Menards, along with a Western that Arnold Schwarzenegger was in with Kirk Douglas.
Wow. So, did you know that Menards had that, or you just stumbled upon it?
It was an impulse purchase.
Have you seen it before?
No. And the Western, they have Schwarzenegger on the cover of the DVD, but he's in there for like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
But he became such a big star, they had to put him on the cover.
Yeah.
Oh, you think Coach Stan sticks around? I think if Marquette makes a deep run, he's gone too.
Yeah, he's really good. I think it's. I would be very surprised if he was with us next year.
Yeah. Marquette hasn't shot badly. They're just giving up too much. Jake Pursuti. What do you think of the Sideshow Bob haircuts?
I don't mind him.
I don't mind them as much as the Mohawks that were popular a couple of years ago. Remember those?
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all.
I'm not really much of a. I just wish I could do something. I take either one. So did Mitch Richmond.
Keith Kloss, when I was in the NBA, had like a cauliflower thing going. Like he had squares all over his head with these little sprouts coming out.
You should do that.
No, I can't do that. It's funny, I was staying at the Ritz-Carlton Marina Del Rey, and one of my buddies came to visit me who was living in the area. He was working for a record company out there. He's on crutches. So we go out to eat at the Cheesecake Factory. Couldn't find a cab, so we're hobbling back to the hotel because we know there's a cab back there
Mhm.
in the pre-Uber days. And Keith sees us. He's driving by in his Escalade. Nice enough guy. I'd never had a conversation with the guy before. He pulled over, picked us up, dropped us off at the hotel. Very nice guy.
Yeah.
And a couple years after that, I saw the infamous Keith Kloss fight video. Did you ever see that?
No.
It didn't go Keith's way.
Was it?
It was just some video filmed at some party that got let out, and Keith was out there, and some guy clocked him.
Oh.
Marcus will get all the attention, but I think Sam Hauser's the linchpin for this team. When he had his hip injury last year,
Mm-hmm.
that was the turning point for the team where you could tell they weren't going to be the same.
He's just so solid. I mean, he
Yeah.
does everything well.
And he can do it at just about every position.
I agree. A lot of ticky tack.
Yeah.
All right, so explain the rationale behind your one meal a day, only eating. Is it always at night?
Yeah, pretty much. Not always.
So being
Sometimes my wife will talk me into a lunch, and then I'll go more than 24. I'll go like a 36.
being 7 feet tall and 250 plus pounds or whatever, and the nutritional requirements that go along with it. How do you fuel your body in the morning to get through the day?
I was 308 pounds
Okay.
almost a year ago. And I was riding the Stairmaster like crazy. And Marquette would go on the road, and I'd work out. I'd do cardio for 45 minutes or so. Couldn't seem to lose any weight like I could when I was younger. Clothes weren't fitting well anymore, and it was hard to find new clothes to fit. I'm like, I gotta do something. I was listening to Joe Rogan podcast, and
Here we go.
no,
Chippiness.
double T. Do we have a double T coming?
I think High Stepper may have issued a double T.
He's pointing to two guys in particular, hooking him like crazy. Oh, a little shove at the elbow. Yeah.
Theo's good at this though. Theo's good for like holding his elbow in tight, with your hand or something like that. Just getting him involved a little. Sakar got a technical foul. Where?
He jumped into the mix, I guess. There's a guy with the eyebrow on the left side there, next to Richmond. Not the short bald dude with the beard, but the guy behind. Watch when he turns, you can see that eyebrow. Looks like somebody hit him with a Sharpie. Come on, turn the other way. There it is. Look at that.
Oh.
Those are bold, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to Mullins, who looks like he wipes his eyebrows off his head entirely.
Yep.
Got nothing left. So, Rogan podcast had some medical people on, and they and some other people who talked about intermittent fasting. And then I watched a documentary or two on Netflix, and then I bought this guy's book and read it and the science behind it. And so the theory is your body is set up to burn sugar first. That's the fourth foul on Theo John. That's rough. And then
So
once it burns through the sugar,
where's
technically,
he said something. He didn't do anything to get a second.
Yeah. Once it burns through the sugar, then it'll get into fat burning mode. But it doesn't get there until after 12 hours. And then I've also heard that sugar in your body suppresses your immune system and its ability to function properly. And I used to get sick every winter, all winter long. I'd have sinus infections, drove me
So
nuts.
is this sugar free?
Of course not. Chock full of sugar, fat, cholesterol, everything's
Perfect.
in there. And so they, how everybody's on these keto diets where you get into ketosis.
Yep.
The whole point of that is you can get there faster, I think, if you avoid the sugars and the carbs and you just eat more like paleo stuff, the meat and the vegetables. That didn't seem sustainable for me. So I'm like, well, I'll just try this eating one meal a day, because I did that during Lent, because I'd always forget and eat meat for lunch on Wednesdays or on Fridays.
Yeah.
And so I just decided I'd go with one meal a day. And it was a pretty easy transition for me. You can't drink you can drink water, you can drink black coffee. I've never tasted coffee, so I just drink water all day. And then when mealtime comes around, I eat whatever I want, and I eat as much of it as I want.
Yeah.
And I gave up cardio, and so I don't do that anymore. I had like 5,000 steps a day last year, and I've lost about 30 pounds and kept it off. And it almost feels like I'm cheating somehow because I'm not working at it. I lift weights 4 days a week, but it's like really light weights and high reps. It's not like I don't break a sweat doing it or anything.
As you eat whatever you want.
Yeah.
As much as
Yeah, like this pizza and this ice cream. I can do that 7 nights this week.
I might have to go on this.
I'm
gonna have to try this.
It's a pretty cool deal. The discipline comes in not eating all day long, and every time you get hungry, you got to drink water instead. And the mentality that's easy for me to adapt to as a former athlete is, if I just drink water right now, it'll be the same equivalent of me running a couple miles, because if I eat that meal, I'm going to have to run a couple miles to burn that food off, or I could just sit here and not do anything and drink water.
Yeah.
And how many practices would I have loved to have just sat down and drank water? I could just sit and drink water. That's easy.
Yeah.
Some of those 3.5 hour practices that you're just hoping you can survive. It's like, I got 2.5 hours to my next meal. I can handle 2.5 hours just sitting here, man. And so, after the first couple weeks of that, my body just kind of got tuned into it, and I don't even think about it now. I've actually found it really liberating, because tough break for Theo, went off his leg, had a solid post move going. I'm not like chained to having to stop what I'm doing every couple hours and feed myself.
I think I could actually do it if I made sure, like, because I try to eat something just for fuel, because like I'll get like lightheaded or something if I don't have any calories in me. But like I was telling somebody the other day, you get caught up in your day and you're working and doing whatever, and I'll either forget to eat, or I will purposely not eat because I have to like leave my office or go make something or whatever, wherever I am.
Yeah.
And it's just better to keep working instead of going somewhere to get food, 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I was looking at trying to start to do some meal prep type stuff, but do it that way. Or I could just purposely not eat.
Yeah. Now Marquette's in a little bit of trouble.
Yep.
Morrow's at the foul line. He's got to knock down these two, but they got to get stops at the other end. And I'm telling you, just make St. John's make an extra pass, and they'll start doing you favors.
Yeah. How much of the St. John's Seton Hall game did you watch?
Just the last 10 minutes.
Gotcha.
And St. John's had a solid lead. They looked like they had the game well in hand.
Yep.
And it's not like Seton Hall played lockdown defense on them.
Mm-hmm.
They just played solid. St. John's came down and just settled for contested jump shots. And Seton Hall battled their way back in. But you got to think Mullins is on his guys now saying, look, we were here against Seton Hall. Finish this one out right. And there's the extra pass. Yeah. Dribble penetration, got the paint touch, the defense collapsed, you made the extra pass. That's what they weren't doing the other night against Seton Hall. Marquette gets through penetration, makes a tough pass. Pat Driscoll calling a foul. Ed Morrow going to the line. Both teams in the bonus. Marquette with 9 fouls. St. John's with 8, so nobody's in the super bonus yet, but
pretty good eyes.
yeah. Just wait, dude. How old are you?
34.
Wait another 10 years. You wear glasses yet?
LASIK.
Do you? It's like I hit 44 and I had to have glasses.
Really?
I don't understand. I never had to have glasses.
I had glasses. My eyes weren't that bad, but I had them for a while. Did LASIK 3 years ago. It's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. And I asked them if I could do LASIK, and they're like, not for what you got. I'm like, what?
I think you could.
I'm fine with distances. It's up close reading.
Yeah, that's what they say with LASIK. You got to use readers sometimes for just you got a book in your hands or something.
Come on, Marcus
That's
Howard,
gotta
hit that shot.
All right, let's get it back.
Jamal Kane pick up that foul.
Marcus.
Marcus slow to get up.
They're making shots.
Yeah.
Gotta give them credit for that.
Yep, that's foul on Marcus.
All right, we gotta come out hair on fire after this time out.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one to pull out.
Yes.
But Marquette is the only Big East team ranked right now. That won't last.
No.
Seton Hall's decent. Nova's obviously decent. St. John's is decent. I don't know how Xavier and Creighton are going to end up being. Tell you what, Creighton did not look good at I was watching some of the Florida game.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I haven't seen them at all. I saw Xavier a little.
DePaul's a little better.
Mm.
I mean, Villanova's probably not national championship caliber. Villanova.
We had 2 people.
Did we? Wow.
Just went away.
All right.
Maybe, hopefully Jake left, and now we have a new viewer. That's what I'm hoping.
All right. Well, welcome, new viewer, if it is a new viewer. You're in the man cave, the racement. Although I don't have a lot of car stuff up down here. Got a couple things, but not much.
I kind of thought that was a play on Racine.
Nope.
So actually, Racine. You guys get pretty fired up about that.
I don't care. Racine.
Yeah, I got a lashing once. I said it wrong.
The problem for me comes with my high school, Racine St. Catherine's, when people in Milwaukee call it St. Kate's. And it's not St. Kate's, it's St. Cat's. Always has been St. Cat's.
And your semi-new coach, Nick Bennett.
Yeah.
How's he doing this year?
I don't know. My nephew was on the team last year, and I followed him a little more closely. But this year, my daughter's not at the school anymore, and I'm pretty far removed from it.
Yeah.
So, but he knows the game really well. The only part I don't understand with him, and a lot of coaches at the high school level, when you're playing at the high school level, at what point do you put in your kids at the end of the bench? How big does your lead have to be? How much time has to be left? Because I feel like these guys like Nick that have coaching experience at the collegiate level, they take the collegiate approach. Like, who were we playing the other night at home? Southern, blowing them out of the water.
Yep.
And I think Cam Murata got in with just under 4 to go.
Yep.
And then the other 3 got in with like a minute and a half to go or so, something like that. And I'm thinking, like, if a guy's in high school and you're up 25 or 30 points and there's 5 minutes to go, clear the bench, put them in, There's the dude with the eyebrow. Look at that eyebrow, man. It goes way down to like Spock eyebrows. And the angle and the point of termination. It's not a unibrow, but it just gets in there tight. Yeah, they're happy. They're cruising now. Look at that. Look at that. And when he's head on, it doesn't look as pronounced, but from the side angle, his eyebrow comes down to like right about there, and the back end of it is up there by his hairline.
We're gonna might have to look that one up.
See who the assistant coach is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know who jumped out of his. I normally don't watch sports on TV,
Uh-huh.
and because I didn't have cable for a long time, I couldn't watch much sports. University of Oregon football was playing one day, and I happened to have the game on. And there was this guy clapping and cheering on the sideline. It was a strength and conditioning coach for Oregon. Had a big time handlebar mustache.
Nice.
Holy cow.
It's a good strength coach. Look.
Yeah.
We may have to talk Todd Smith into doing the handlebar for a year.
The handlebar.
I don't know. Maybe like a month.
I don't know if he really doesn't have a handlebar like structure to his face. You know, he's more of what he's got. I think he's got the right facial hair for his face.
We can always try.
The handlebar seems to work better on guys that are more
next November for Movember.
No, like he. It's not like Todd is obese or anything, but guys who are thicker tend to do better with the full goatee like Todd has.
Yeah.
And then guys who are thinner or more athletic cut and more defined facial features, I think they look better with the handlebar.
You've obviously thought this through. I mean, this has been you've thought about
this. This is where we delve into the bizarre world of Jim McIlvaine. There is an award given annually. I'm not sure who's behind it. I'm almost convinced it's some kind of shaving company.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Robert Goulet Memorial Mustached Man of the Year Award.
Jake Thomas is chiming in with
Todd Smith should rock a soul patch. Well, he could, but I mean, to really call it a soul patch, you got to get rid of everything else. Yeah. My soul patch has always been like really light blonde white.
All right, sorry, you were talking about this.
The Robert Goulet Memorial Mustached Man of the Year Award is an annual award given out by these people.
It has to be some.
I don't know how you get it. I nominated a guy one year for it. They didn't go with my nomination. So here's Marquette pulling 14. They can score points in a hurry.
Quick 5 points.
The question is if they can get stops at the other end. St. John's, if you're a St. John's fan right now, you're like, stretch these possessions out, burn some clock. They're making some passes. They haven't gotten any penetration, so the defense is still set. There's your penetration and the shot, and good patience by the Johnnies.
Middle drive.
Yeah. And there's not enough time left that Marquette can trade you threes for twos, and you'll still have the lead at the end of the game. Draw the foul. Count it the foul. There you go. Get to the line now. So Scott Holiday is who I nominated.
Mm-hmm.
He's the lead guitarist for my favorite rock band. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're called Rival Sons. They're out of Long Beach, California. And apparently I'm friends with a guy who's friends with the bass player. And he's a cool guy and a car guy, which is awesome. Always glad to know that there's people in the performing arts who are into cars, because that's not always a connection that's commonly made.
Mm-hmm.
But Scott Holiday is a killer guitarist, and he's working the handlebar. Not like a handlebar, but he's got kind of like a one of those kind of deals, except not really high. Ooh.
Caught the end of that.
Yeah, that's
wasn't good for us.
Yeah. The way he was flexing afterwards, you could tell he was pretty proud of himself. So I nominated him.
He's got the Raleigh fingers.
It's not really a Raleigh fingers, because that's really a handlebar. He doesn't have the curve going around. It's close. He might have the curve every once in a while. But the Mustache Institute responded. They acknowledged the potential, but ultimately they gave it to somebody else, which was disappointing.
Yeah.
And he even responded and played it up to the Mustache Institute like, yeah, it'd be an honor. I'd love to be the guy that represents the Mustache Institute for the year. That didn't work out.
They probably took him a while to get over that loss.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know,
That's a big one.
they had a new album. He has his mind on other things. I'm sure he could cope with it.
Take it day by day, obviously.
Yep.
Middle drive
Yep.
and a miss rebound.
Yeah.
Miss block.
Nobody. So now they're finishing this one out the way they should have finished out against Seton Hall. Who does Marquette play after this?
I don't. Xavier.
Xavier.
Xavier's 6th, which is Saturday.
They're having a little bit of a down year.
Oof.
I don't know if I'm going to ask for any more tickets to the games. Because I feel like there's Lou.
Yep.
And I know the guy next to Lou for some reason. I feel like they take such good care of me and give me such nice seats. I don't want to do it over ask and ask for too much. So I usually try to ask for the non-conference games, the winter break games when nobody's going to be around. I would never ask for Wisconsin. And I'm just appreciative for whatever seats they give me.
They're
So
very good.
yes.
Yeah.
And they don't have to be, but
No, they don't.
I noticed Rob Frazina's seats were empty at the last. Performance Engineering and Willwood Disc Brakes. Be sure to give us ratings on Google Play, iTunes, or wherever you might find us, and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. We'll be back again soon. Boom. And I'm going to sign off on here. Boom.
There we go.
End it.